in as quickly as I can. As I call your name, if you could unmute and just let me know what your name is, or confirm that the name on the screen is correct. And then also let me know who you're representing here today, whether you're a part of the project itself as an applicant or an owner or a developer or engineer, or if you're a neighboring property owner or a member of the community, or somebody else. So I'm going to go off the orientation on my screen here. I have Jim Kaiser. Jim, if you could unmute for me. Yeah. Okay, I'll give Jim a second here to unmute. Move to Craig Abercrombie. Craig, could you unmute for me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Craig. And are you on the applicant or owner team here?
Yes, yeah, I'm on with JS Held and MBOS.
Okay, great. Welcome. I see we have someone under the name BGC Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm Bill Bresser. I'm the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Okay, and Bresser is BRE
SSER.
Okay, great. All right, welcome.
Thank
you. Looks like Jim, you're with us now.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
yep,
great.
With Emboss Design, architect.
Okay, great. Welcome. And I see we have Mike Oberhausen. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm with JS Held. I'm an owner's representative for the Boys and Girls Club.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
I see that we have two individuals under the name Paul.
Yes, we're property owners in the area.
Sure, if you could give me each of your names.
Paul and Linda Alexander.
Could you spell the last name for me?
Alexander.
Alice Amber, is that right?
Alexander.
Yeah. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
And Nicholas Keys.
Yes, JS Held, ownership team, owner's rep.
All right, welcome. And finally, Pete Whitty. I'm sorry, is it Whitty or Witt?
Whitty.
Great.
I'm the property and business owner immediately across the street from the site, the proposed site.
Okay, great. Welcome, Mr. Whitty. I see that we also have Kate Meehan, who from the Cincinnati Zoning Department. Hi, Kate.
Good morning.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started. I need to read through the hearing script, which will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll get into it. So this is the March 13th, 2024 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. Case before us today is case number ZH20240012. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. The hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So for our purposes here today, everyone attached to the owner or the applicant or the Boys and Girls Club, any or all of you can speak about the project. Really, I'm fairly liberal about how you want to orient your presentation. One of you can speak, all of you can speak, however you think it's best for me to understand the scope of the project, what exactly it is that you're trying to do here, any background you think is important, the zoning relief that you're requesting, and of course, why you think that zoning relief is appropriate. I'll then move to the public to have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case, if they do want to provide anything. I'll hear from the zoning department and Ms. Meehan to provide any testimony in addition to her staff report. In the event that any party testifies or argues in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony and or argument that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly. But to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, asking any questions, making any comments, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if you know now that you would like to provide something during this hearing, some sort of testimony, I'm going to go ahead and collectively swear all those people in together. If you're not certain, I can always swear you in later. But if you know now that there is something that you would like to provide, if you could please take yourself off of mute at this time. And I'll need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, great. And to the Alexanders, I'll swear you each of you in as we come to your opportunity to speak. All right. So who's going to be taking the lead on the presentation from the applicant today?
I can do that.
Okay.
This is
Mr.
again Jim
Kaiser.
Kaiser with Boss Design. So a quick summary of the project. This would be a new teen club for the Boys and Girls Club in Cincinnati, as well as their new corporate offices on the second floor of the building. As you know or may know, that they currently have a club on the adjacent corner that's been there since I believe to about 2017. This new facility is strictly geared towards their teen population and teen membership. They are this is something they're doing in other parts of the city and other clubs. They actually have another teen club under construction in Royal Hill. So inside the building for the teen center, there'll be several what they call program rooms, as well as a conference room and office space. Program rooms are for the teens. As far as the relief request, there are 3 items. First is the parking count. Zoning code requires 100 square feet per space, or 1 space per 100 square feet. I'm sorry, which puts us well over about 126 spaces. This is far more than they would ever need, given that again, many of these teens walk. Many of them don't even have cars, or the families don't have cars. They're taking buses or walking to the facility. We actually had the same variance and relief request and was granted for the current club. Again, for the same reasons. There's just no need for that many parking spaces, given their members, the children that are attending here have cars, and many of the families do not as well. So obviously the office space would have need for cars, and the 100 square feet per space does align with their needs there. So we are requesting a variance to that request to allow us reduction of that variance from 126 spaces down to 46 spaces, as is shown in the current site plan. Second request is for the buffer yard of 15 feet. Again, due to the limits of the site, the original sites
Jim,
did
I'm
not have a
gonna
buffer.
share my screen here briefly just to provide some more context for folks on the call. But please go ahead.
Okay. So the existing site, when this was a funeral home, did not, the paving pretty much ran all the way up to the property lines. But with the parking spaces that they need and the limitations of the sites, we are still unfortunately encroaching on the buffer yard in order to achieve the 46 spaces that we have. So we are requesting a reduction in that buffer. We would still provide as is shown, the landscaping and the required 6-foot tall privacy fence. The buffer is on essentially the 2 sections on north property, the far north, as well as the portion of northern property line by the dumpster area.
Okay, so Jim, are you talking about this area here for the north, the far north end?
Yes, that one. And then as you go down parallel to it, if you see the dumpster, the house, there you go, where that cursor's at. There's really a request for relief on setback as well.
Okay, but there will be, well, one, the reason why you need the relief from the buffer requirement, the distance requirement, is so that you can provide additional parking spaces. Is that right?
Yeah, so in order to get the 46 spaces that we have shown
Gotcha.
there now, correct? Yeah.
And this will so in that buffer space, there will be a 6-foot fence. Is that what this black line is here?
Yes, there would be a, well, I'm looking at my phone, but yes, there will be a 6-foot high privacy fence installed.
Okay, and then between that privacy fence and the property line, there'll be additional landscape buffering
Yes.
between the fence and.
Yeah. Now, I think probably since the site plan was submitted, we have moved the privacy fence to be at the property line. Is I believe
Okay.
that is technically the zoning requirement. So
Okay, but so where will the landscape buffering be? On the inside of the fence?
correct. Yeah, between the parking lot and the fence.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that as we were looking at the site plan.
Sure. And the third variance request is for murals. And so in the proposed design, we have on 2 elevations of the building, the south, which is along Glenway, and on the trying to remember, it was on the east, which is on the east side. The intent is to have a local agency such as Artworks paint a mural on the building, and the purpose of that is to help further engage. One is obviously aesthetics, but it's also to help engage the kids, the teenagers, in the building, making it a more vibrant facility for them to attend to, give them more reason to want to come to the facility and take part in the services that the Boys and Girls Club have to offer. So I believe, the zoning required only allows 1 mural. So again, the request is they have 2 murals, 1 on each elevation, south and east wall.
Okay. Say that again. Did you say 2 murals?
2 murals total. One would be on the south elevation, which is along Glenway, and then the other would be on the east elevation, which is along Dewey.
Got it. Okay. And how large are these murals going to be?
I believe the submit elevations. Bear with me, because Allie, who handled the submission, is on vacation. So I believe there should have been an elevation included in the submission. Do you have that, David? Looks like the one on the east elevation well, I don't have an exact size, but the elevation of surface on the building on the east elevation is about 500 square feet, but that encompasses windows. So I don't think it would encompass the entire 500 square feet. And then we do have the location on the south elevation is about 350 square feet.
Okay, so the south mural is 350 square feet.
That's the square footage of the wall surface. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any, if there were drawings of the mural or sketches, I'm not seeing it in the materials that I have, and I might just be missing it. But okay, I see the journal. Okay.
Yeah, David, figure 6 and 7 show the proposed locations of the mural. I
Okay.
do not have any renderings that show what the murals might look like, but the figure 6 and 7 do show where the location will be, and they note the square footage.
Yes, there you
Got
go.
it. Is this
That's
accurate?
That is, yeah, that's.
Am I
that's what we
seeing
submitted.
3 here?
Real quick, this is Nick Keys. We are still working through defining what this mural application would be and the location on the building, size. I think we were looking for more of a general approval or restrictions based on, approved as noted or something like that to help us guide. I wouldn't say we're in our initial phase but we're looking at getting costing back this week with some renderings. So we would be able to provide more detail on this, but we were looking to see if it was going to be allowable.
Gotcha. And to be clear, are you requesting the ability to install 3 murals or 2?
The original concept plan, which was really just for discussion, which is based on what we were, what you're looking at here, was what we thought might be, you know, a nice addition to the building to spice it up and integrate it with the community a little bit better. But we are still working through that, whether we needed 1 or 2. But I think this was kind of where we wanted to start the conversation.
Okay. So you're requesting the ability to have up to 2 murals, is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
And David, if I could just add, so I have counted it as 3 just because the zoning code does state 1 mural per wall surface. So if we're counting per wall surface, the one that wraps around the corner would essentially count as 2 because it's on 2 separate walls. But it
Got
is 1 large mural, but 2 separate walls.
So the one along Dewey, or sorry, whatever that
Correct.
stretch is. Yeah. This one wraps around to this.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks for that clarification.
Mhm.
Mr. Kaiser, did you have more you wanted to add?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
All right. Did anyone else from the Boys and Girls Club or the applicant owner team like to say anything about the project?
I just have a few items to kind of clarify in terms of how we ended up with that site layout, Mr. Sturkey.
Sure.
If you don't mind, can you pull the landscape plan or the site plan up again?
Sure.
I can just kind of 2 items I wanted to go over with you. So on the west buffer, we tried to maximize that as much as we could. So I held the east edge of the parking at 3 foot off the right of way along Dewey, which is the minimum per the zoning code, and we worked west. So we did our best to minimize the variance we're requesting on the west side by holding that 3 feet. And in terms of the dumpster that Jim mentioned, it's going to be down about 5 or 6 feet from the grade at the house north of the dumpster, just to kind of give you some perspective. There's a slope coming. Correct. There's a slope coming down from the driveway at the property line. And then there's a retaining wall that dumpster kind of sits inside. So just to kind of give you perspective, you know, if they're standing in their front yard, they're not looking right at a back of a dumpster enclosure.
Gotcha. So this will be completely enclosed and
sunken in away from that other property due to grade.
Okay. Will there be visibility of the enclosure itself?
There'll be some when you're going up Rosemont. That's kind of why we put the 1 tree there. You'll kind of catch that, call it the southwest side of the dumpster enclosure.
Okay. All right.
So those are just 2 items I just kind of wanted to kind of explain to you in terms of our site layout.
Sure. Appreciate it. So Craig, is this the retaining wall you're referring to?
That's
the darker
correct.
Black? Okay.
Correct.
And then the thinner black is
the curb.
Okay. Got it. All right. And then the fence will be where then on the outside? Is this the fence?
It's going to be just inside the property line, which is inside the existing stone wall on the north property line.
Okay. Got it.
So there's kind of a lot going on in that area, but the dumpster is going to sit down. If you're looking from that neighbor's driveway, you're likely going to probably look above it and you'll see the back of the Boys and Girls Club building.
Okay.
So just those 2 items I wanted to kind of mention to you.
Sure. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for anyone. This might be best for some of the folks from the Boys and Girls Club. I remember as this was attempting to move through before the funeral home was brought down, it was moving through as a potential historic landmark. And I thought that there was talk about some sort of skills or job training going on at this facility. Is that still the plan, or could you talk any more about the programming that's going to be happening at this facility?
Yeah, yeah. This is Bill Bresser, the CEO of the club. So we're really excited about this. This all came to fruition after conversations with a lot of our teens that currently go to the program, and we know that we need to do a better job at actually serving that older population. And as you know, there's an epidemic, unfortunately, across the city of youth violence, and there's a mental health crisis and an academic gap. So essentially, what Boys and Girls Club wants to do with this program is dedicate specific space and more resources to that older age group. And what that means is we're going to do Boys and Girls Club stuff like more homework assistance, mentorship, tutoring, fun stuff. Like we'll still do gaming and team sports, things like that. But what the Youth Workforce Center is going to do is put in front of all of our kids, businesses, universities, trade schools, the military, to ensure that all of them understand every option for life after high school. And then we're going to have enough staff on hand to be able to walk them through whatever pathway they choose. So we're going to have a job placement program there. So job readiness, a more robust one than we currently have as well. And we'd love to incorporate things like driver's ed, things that they've told us they've wanted. So basically, that's what it is. So there's not going to be a lot of job like training there, but that's a place where we're going to put in front of our kids. I mean, we have like resume building classes, things like that we currently do that we'd like to do more of. But our job is to convene those resources to make sure that all of our students understand all the paths for life after high school. So that when they graduate, they have a mentor, some job, a resume, some job experience, and a viable plan for life after high school. So that's ultimately the goal.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Anything else before I move on to the public?
David, this is Jim Kaiser again. I just wanted to go back to the mural concept. After hearing Kate's comment, I think we didn't have the same understanding of when we were asking for 2, and she's saying it's 3 based on quarter wall surface, which makes sense. So I just wanted to clarify kind of what our intent was or desire was. So if you go back to the elevation, so we have on the south elevation wall surface, there's 2 locations. The one on the left, which is the one that's listed as 350 square feet, that was a standalone mural, and ideally with the option that would be used as signage, provided it would comply with a maximum allowable signage square footage in the zoning code. And then the one on the east, we were considering the one on the east as a single mural as it was wrapping around to the east elevation. Mm-hmm. So that was our desire and our hope for the facility is 2 on the south elevation, 1 on the east with the thought was at the corner we were considering as 1 mural. Obviously zoning is considering it as 2 because of the 2 different wall surfaces. So I just want to kind of elaborate and clarify my previous comments on that.
Appreciate that. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead. Did the Alexanders want to provide any comment or have any questions? If so, if you could unmute, and if you do, I'll need to just quickly swear both of you in. There we go. Did you want to add anything, or are you just observing?
I think we're observing, but I would be interested in intent of the mural when that's available.
Sure. Yeah, as I understand it, there is no design for the mural yet, or
so I am not against it. I think that would be delightful if it's well done. Sure.
Got it. Okay. I'm happy to share the information or contact information of someone from the Boys and Girls Club Mr. Bresser or Mr. Oberhausen, if you're comfortable with that, I'm happy to share that with the Alexanders offline.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I have your emails. I'll email you all some contact information for Mr. Bresser or the Boys and Girls Club so that you guys can stay in contact as that idea gets developed.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Mr. Whitty, are you still with us?
I am. My only question would be, I guess, as final details of how the exterior of the building will be finished, will the Boys and Girls Club make a presentation to the community council, or will that be made available to the general public at some time prior to construction?
Can I answer? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. Hey, Pete, it's good to see you. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to come and talk to anybody who we need to. I spoke with Karen Ball last night and sent her a couple renderings. I didn't know that you guys were meeting last night, but yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. Let me turn it over to Ms. Meehan from the City Zoning Department. Ms. Meehan, is there any testimony you'd like to provide?
The only thing I would add is that we did note on the site plan that we would like to see additional landscaping around the dumpster. And I understand from Mr. Abercrombie that it does sit down some, so that will help to shield it. But the dumpster is close to Rosemont Avenue. And the code does require that any dumpster enclosure is landscaped, excluding the access point. And given the proximity of the dumpster and the enclosure to Rosemont, I think we would like to see additional landscaping, at least along the Rosemont side, to be more in compliance with the code.
I don't believe that'll be an issue. Nick, Mike?
No issue.
Yep. Yeah, that one corner, Kate, is a little open now that I look at it. So yeah, we can kind of tighten things up and make it a little more dense screening as people are going up Rosemont.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Anything else, Kate?
No, I don't have anything additional.
Okay. All right, turn it back over to the applicant team here. Would anyone like to make any remarks or respond to anything that's been said, or make any comments in closing or otherwise? Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I do agree with the applicants. I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this particular application. And so I am going to approve the application. I do, however, agree, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I do, however, agree with Kate and her analysis on the refuse area. So I will add an additional requirement that there are some plantings along Rosemont to avoid any adverse visual impacts for folks walking or driving along Rosemont. But otherwise, I will approve the application as proposed. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. That typically, as I mentioned at the beginning, takes about 2 weeks. As soon as I finish the decision, I put it into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all will have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. To the applicants, once you receive that copy, Kate will be able to approve the zoning in our system on her end, and then hopefully you can move forward and take the next steps. Any questions about that process or anything else from anyone? Okay. Well, if you do have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you'd like a status update on the decision, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to provide that to you. Unless there's anything else, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Good luck with the project, and we are adjourned.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.